Welcome back to We Talk Boxing, and today I'm going to be discussing Conor Benn and about his potential next opponent that he may face within the next couple of months. So the Conor Benn saga continues. Now Eddie Hearn has tried to match his fighter appropriately and even called out some names such as Amir Khan, Kell Brook, Mikey Garcia, which have all since turned down the fight but have also retired as well from boxing. So those guys obviously didn't want any of the smoke that Conor Benn was dishing out. Now, Boxing News has recently reported that promoter Eddie Hearn is looking to try and match Benn against former WBA and WBC welterweight champion Keith the one-time Thurman. Now, initially, my thoughts about this matchup is that it's a great fight if it can be made, but it's a very, very big step up in terms of Conor Benn's last three opponents, such as Chris Van Heerden, Chris Algieri, and Adrian Granados, as Keith Thurman is still an elite welterweight fighter on his day. But I honestly understand why Eddie Hearn wants to try and entice this matchup because it's another big name on Benn's record if he wins, and it may put Benn in line for a title shot again if he comes through the Keith Thurman challenge as well. Also, Keith Thurman has been very inactive in recent years by only fighting once since 2019 and is currently suspended by the Nevada Athletic Commission up until August of 2022. As well, Thurman was hoping to try and wait for the winner of the fight between the two of the welterweight division's best fighters in Crawford and Spence, but because both fighters are still working on a deal and they haven't got a date scheduled, Thurman's team could potentially consider this fight as an interim. Now, when comparing both fighters' boxing records, Keith Thurman's record pretty much is an excellent one, really. He's had 31 fights with 30 wins, with one loss on his record as well, which came to against Manny Pacquiao in 2019, which was a split decision loss as well. On the other hand, Conor Benn, his record is 21 fights with 21 wins and 14 KOs to his name. And, he's got some good scalps on his record as well to date. So, he's been in there with some decent opposition as well. Now, obviously, when looking at both fighters, Benn is young and he's hungry and he's always in shape. So I believe that if this fight can be made, that he will be ready for the challenge as well to take on Keith Thurman. Now, the question is, do I think this fight could be made? And my answer to that is no. And my reasoning is because I think Thurman's team are potentially gonna want, an easier fight for their fighter. As if, Thurman loses to an up and coming fighter such as Conor Benn at this stage of his career, then potentially, it's going to be a hard road back for Keith Thurman and, to try and hopefully get back into a world title shot, contender. Whereas, if he takes an easier fight and, to kind of shake off the ring rust and, just to get a few rounds in, etc., then potentially he will still be in contention for that world title shot in the near future, depending on obviously what goes on with the Crawford and Spence fight. So the question is, who do I think is a suitable opponent for Benn at this stage of his career, and can the fight be made? Well, looking at the rankings, I have suggested that there are some possibilities such as Ugas, Danny Garcia, Mario Barrios and Gayazov, providing any of these guys haven't got any fights lined up. There are also a few good domestic matchups as well, such as Michael McKinson, Lewis Crocker as well, and obviously he's not a British fighter, but David Aviasian, again, brilliant opponent as well for Benn at this stage of his career. And there is a possibility as well that that fight could potentially be made. All three guys, domestically are all ranked quite highly as well with the governing bodies as well. So, a good, credible opponents for Benn. But, obviously, if these fights were to be made, obviously I would do a full video about them as well. Anyway, guys, this is just a quick update just to let you know about Conor Benn and obviously some of the rumours for potential matchup with him and Thurman, and who I think are potential suitable opponents for him. So always, just let me know your thoughts about this potential matchup, And who would you like to see him in with next? And do you think, a potential fight with Thurman or Aviasian can potentially be made? Please subscribe, like, comment, and share my videos for more boxing related content. Bless.